Hi, welcome to the IHC Craft Room. I'm Mary. In today's video, I'm excited to show you how I made this awesome Halloween wreath. I've never made a wreath like this before. I don't even know if this is a thing. I call this a half and half wreath. It's half clothespins and half ribbon wreath and all Halloween all day. I love the way it turned out and I can't wait to show you how I made it step by step. Grab all your stuff and let's get crafty.
This is Mary. Welcome to the IHC Craft Room. For materials, we'll begin with a 14-inch round wire wreath frame, 2.5-inch wired ribbon. These are all Halloween patterned. I have 8 different patterns: black glitter, pumpkin burlap, skeletons, bats, orange and black diamonds, crows, spiders, and orange with black spiders. Some black pipe cleaners, 2 packs of clothespins, some chalk paint in black and white, jute cord, and a bunch of Halloween embellishments, some skulls, bones, glittery spiders, googly eyes, you name it. Spooky and boo woodwords, and some orange mini ornaments that I did not show here. For tools, we'll begin with my bestie Giorgio the glue gun, a pair of scissors, a plastic plate, my glittery pink ruler, a paintbrush, a cup of water, a wet cloth, some parchment paper, a pair of rubber gloves, and of course, my besties, the toothpicks. Let's get started by focusing on the clothespins because these are going to take a while to paint, especially if you're as extra as I am. And by extra, I mean that I paint every single side of every single clothespin, the very tippy top and the bottom. If it's wood, I'm painting it, and I actually paint that little metal part too because I'm lazy and I don't feel like taking it off. There are several ways that you could go about painting your clothespins. You could spray paint them, you could give them a quick once over and not stress yourself about the top, bottom, and inside. I've even heard of people diluting their paint in water and dumping the clothespins inside to let them absorb the paint. But personally, I put on a podcast and paint these clothespins from every direction as though my life depends on it. So how many clothespins do we need of each color? Well, that's a great question, and it can be answered by our weekly crafting math session. That's right. It's time for Maker Math. We've got a 14-inch wire wreath frame, which is divided into 6 sections, and in each section, 14 clothespins will fit snugly. Since we're going to be making half of this wreath clothespins, we're targeting 3 sections, and we're going to need a total of 42 clothespins, 21 black and 21 white. But I'm going to be making an extra one of each color just in case I break one because, that would be typical of me. Alrighty, let's talk a little bit more about how I'm painting my clothespins here. I like to paint the bottom and the sides and the top and then clip it to a plastic plate. That way, when the paint dries, the clothespins won't get stuck to the plate and they'll just come off easily. I'm wearing gloves because, Santa Maria, who has the patience to clean the paint out of my nails? Definitely not me. So gloves, oui. Once I've painted a few of these, I'm going to go ahead and paint all the fronts and backs of all the clothespins by flipping the plate over. And let me tell you, this is super satisfying and very fun. At least I think it is. And since I was bright enough to use chalk paint this time around, I actually only needed to do 1 coat of paint on each of these clothespins, which is most definitely a first for me. Seriously, Mary from the past, why didn't you think of this sooner? Like, for real. I'm going to set these aside and let them dry, and let's go ahead and move on to making our ribbon bundles. It's time to start measuring out and cutting our ribbon pieces so that we can put them together and create the bundles. Which means it's time to do a little bit more maker math. Listen, don't act like you're upset about it because we both know you were hoping there'd be another one. As you know, we've got a 14-inch wire wreath frame, which has 6 sections, and we're targeting half the wreath. So that's 3 sections that we're going to be focusing on with 6 bundles per section. So we're going to need 18 ribbon bundles in total. And we'll be cutting each piece of ribbon to 12 inches in length. I'm going to be making 2 different sets of ribbon bundles. Set number 1 will contain the black glitter ribbon, bats, diamonds, and the skeleton ribbon, while bundle set number 2 will also contain the black glitter ribbon, as well as the spiders, crows, and pumpkins. So let's go ahead and get started on measuring out 12-inch pieces of ribbon. I'm going to be needing 18 pieces of the black glitter ribbon since it appears in every bundle, and 9 pieces of all the others. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we'll skip ahead to the part that, if you already know me, you know I love, which is dovetailing the ends of my ribbons. I really do enjoy the way that looks. You don't need to dovetail your ribbon, but I highly recommend it because I think it looks awesome. So once I'm done measuring out and cutting all the ribbon pieces and dovetailing them, it'll be time to get started making our bundles. Let's begin by cutting some pipe cleaners in half, and then we'll set them aside so we can start working on our first set of ribbon bundles. I'm gonna lay each ribbon out one by one in a crisscross applesauce sort of way. Then we'll scrunch up the center and use a pipe cleaner to bundle it together before I fold the ribbon in half to make sure I'm at the center point and to get a good tight twist. Listen, I'm a bit of an over twister. I don't want to talk about it. A couple of good twists will do you just fine, but if you want to add in a few more twists, like who cares? I'm definitely not going to judge you. Okay, let's do that again one more time, this time with the other set of ribbon bundles. We'll crisscross each ribbon, then scrunch the center and bundle it with a pipe cleaner. Fold it in half to make sure we're at the center point, and then twist that pipe cleaner like you mean it. Now continue that process for all 18 ribbon bundles, and pretty soon it'll be time to start putting it all together. For the next step, we're going to get our wood sign ready. Now, I decided to use the spooky sign with that cute little ghost on top, and full disclosure, I ended up making 2 different versions of this sign. Initially, I started off with black and white, and I added some white dots on the word spooky, which looks super cool. However, as soon as I completed working on that, my brain immediately said, there's no way this will be visible against the black and white clothespins. It'll blend in way too much. So I decided to make a second spooky sign with a white chalk paint ghost and a bright orange coat of paint for the word spooky, which would offer more contrast and would really pop out from the black and white clothespins. Which also means I now have a dot painted spooky sign that I don't need, but hey, I'll just save it for another project because you never know, you know? Okay, we're finally at my favorite part. It's time to put it all together. So as we discussed, we're doing half of this wreath base with the clothespins, so I'm going to get started by placing a black clothespin on the second ring from the inside of the frame. And we'll follow that with another black clothespin on the very next ring. Then we'll switch to the white clothespins and do the same thing. One clothespin on the second ring from the inside of the frame, and then another on the very next ring. And we're going to keep alternating black and white until we fill up all 3 sections and complete this half of the wreath base. Doesn't that look great? Okay, now attaching these ribbon bundles is going to be a bit of a challenge, primarily because I intentionally made these ribbon bundles extra long. 12 inches is a lot of ribbon, and I did that because I really want this ribbon section to just explode off the wreath base. But that also makes it a lot more challenging to maneuver and attach these bundles. So before we go any further, let's talk about ribbon bundle positioning, shall we? In order to make this incredibly full, instead of putting 5 bundles per section, which is what I normally would do for a ribbon bundle wreath, we're actually going to be putting 6 bundles per section. We're going to use the 2 middle rings of the wreath base, 3 on the outside and 3 on the inside. And since we've got 2 different types of bundles, we're going to alternate bundles as well, just to get a really good mix of all the ribbons everywhere. I recommend that, like me, you work with the wreath base upside down so that the ribbon bundles are underneath out of your hair and you're just focusing on securing the pipe cleaners on the back side. Don't forget to keep alternating ribbon bundles so that the ribbon is really well mixed in all 3 sections. And once you've got all your bundles secure, then we'll just flip it over and voila! Look at that volume. It's insanity. And I couldn't love it more. It's so much ribbon that it almost overtakes the clothespins. It's like Gina hair in the 80s. Just a bit too much, and yet we still love it, don't we? Okay, it's time to finish dressing up our wreath for a haunted night on the town. And as expected, the black and white dot painted sign gets lost in the clothespins. But our orange spooky sign pops nicely and nods to the flashes of orange in the ribbon, which ties both sides of the wreath together nicely. So let's go ahead and glue that down to the clothespins. And once that's nice and secure, we're going to move on to gluing a few skulls inside the center of a few of our ribbon bundles. I want some to be super visible and others to be hidden away so you only get a creepy glimpse of them. Now let's add some of these mini orange ornaments into the mix. I'm going to glue them inside the center of a few ribbon bundles as well. Lovely. Now let's get some googly eyes in on the action. These little guys are tiny and my big man hands are not. So all I can say is if you're like me, then proceed with caution. But regardless, these minis are the perfect size to fit on the clothespins. Next, I'm going to add a few of these glittery little white bones to the ribbons too. A nice white pop. And for a finishing touch, let's add a glittery orange spider clip to the ribbons and a couple of purple glittery spider clips to the clothespins too. Awesome. Now let's just tie on some jute cord so we can hang this huge wreath up on the wall. And there she is, half prim and proper, half wild and spooky. The split personality your front door deserves. Love it.
So what do you think? It was pretty simple to make and it turned out awesome. I'm super thrilled. I'm definitely going to use this style of wreath in the future because it's just so much fun. And this riot of ribbons is really everything. It's just jumping off the wreath base. I love it. I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about wreath making, check out one of these videos. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!